Good morning to all of you and welcome to the last class regarding residential status. Today we'll be almost finishing up our points relation to income deemed to accrue in India, and then we'll do some questions, and then I'll obviously answer your questions in relation to basic tax rates. So everyone please settle in and we'll quickly start revising and start taking your doubts. Hope everyone is doing fine and any doubt in relation to what we did in the previous class? I know you might have doubt related to tax rates, which I have told you to park for today. We'll do that, but on the later part of the class. Hello, great. So I am assuming a very good morning to all of you, and I am assuming that there are no doubts, right? Perfect. Mhm. So, student, we were discussing about income deemed to accrue or arise in India. See, income deemed to accrue or arise in India is taxable in the hands of every assessee. Every assessee, by I mean, is irrespective of the residential status, income deemed to accrue or arise in India would always be taxable, be it resident, be it non-resident. So, you'll be saying that, ma'am, why are we studying Section 9 in depth, which relates to income deemed to accrue or arise in India? The reason is very simple because from the perspective of non-resident, an income which is getting generated might look that it is not accrued in India. It is not accrued in India. But when it falls under the provisions of Section 9, subsection 1, it would be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Deemed to accrue or arise in India means prima facie, it might not look that it is accruing in India, but if it is covered under Section 9(1), it would be deemed to accrue or arise in India, and hence it would always be taxable in India. So we have discussed already the first 4 points, first 4 clauses of Section 9, subsection 1. First is, if an income is accruing or arising outside India, directly or indirectly from a business connection in India. Business connection in India, matlab, guys, what is business connection in India? Business connection in India is like you imagine you have a agent, you are a non-resident, you have a pure agent working for you who is securing order for you, who is helping you get all the business thing related to done, be it getting contract, be it maintaining inventory, be it securing order. So that person is called a business connection. So even if I, being a non-resident, is sitting abroad, but if there is someone in India who is doing business on my behalf, that is a business connection, and any income which is coming from that agent would be income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Any property, asset, or source of income in India. So we give an example of FD here. Whatever the income is getting generated, irrespective of the fact it is getting generated in the US dollars or any foreign currency, but if the source or the property of that income is in India, then it is income accrued in India. Similarly, when you transfer any capital asset which is situated in India, any capital asset situated in India, for example, properties, even if the agreement has happened between two non-residents, you might not have come to do so. Even the currency, the consideration was in foreign currency, does not matter. It would be income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Salary earned for services rendered in India may salary would always be taxable in India if the services are rendered in India. If the services are rendered in India. So, for example, even if the employer is the person who is outside India. So, suppose a company, a Japanese company is giving me salary, but I'm working for that particular period in India. That is, services are rendered in India. It would be taxable in India. Similarly, this is only for the third case is only for the people who are employee of government and are Indian citizen and they are rendering services outside India. And they are rendering services outside India. So even if they are rendering services outside India, but since the government is paying them and they are Indian citizen, it would be taxable in India. Remember, here one more section you have to remember side by side. Section 10.7, whereby allowances and perquisites are exempt, which are earned by the diplomats, Then dividend paid by an Indian company outside India. Indian company, you remember, any company which is incorporated in India. Even if the dividend is paid to a shareholder who is outside India, still that dividend would be taxable in India. Now, we'll be covering up the remaining 4 points. So, let's begin. I'll definitely answer this question. Hmm. Diplomats are basically a person who are working in high commissions of India, but those commissions are in other countries. See, Section 9 says, Darsana, Section 9 subsection 1 says that uh, for any government employee, basically the salary which is paid by government, and that person is Indian citizen, the services would be taxable in India, and hence he would pay tax in India. Okay. But where the salary may, there are multiple components. Components like basic salary, components like different allowances, components like different benefits, perquisites. So only the basic salary part, rather I should say, or bonus, if any, which they might get. So only though that part of the salary would be taxable, which is except allowances and except perquisite. So allowances and perquisite would not be taxable. Section 10 deals with all the incomes which are not taxable in the hands of assessee, either partially or fully. So Section 10 में clause 7 है, which says that allowances and perquisites which are paid to the Indian citizen by the government would not be taxable. Okay. इसमें I think David वाला question भी है in your book. I hope you did it. Mansi, see, notes, I think I told in the last class also, the book has been very well summarized to give you a form of notes. Abhi, the flowchart which we were seeing is also a very precise notes. Along with that, you can put in some common points which you have to remember in pointers so that in exams you don't forget them. These are the flags or the checkpoints which you have to check in exam always. Okay. So Ramchandra is saying, so ma'am, any individual working in India as work from home or for an MNC outside situated out there in a 1 second. Ma'am, so any individual working in India as work from home for an MNC situated outside India is an example of services earned for the services. So it's been a very careful question. So we have a lot of case laws which says if the person is working from home for an MNC which is outside India, will it be a case of the salary which would be taxed in India. So there are different schools of thought. Some says that services are rendered for the company. He's just out from the location of his main work, but he's working in intent for a project which is not there in India. So it should not be taxable. Some who are very conservative tax it, but I don't think so. The second approach should go because intent is when the services are truly rendered in India, when the services are truly benefiting India, that is the intent which should be taken up here, not just the mere work from home or work from office situation is covering. I'll share some case laws on this. So any business or profession control within India is, see, prima facie, anything which is in India, the source of it is in India, it is taxable in India for everyone, for everyone. See, resident ke case mein you don't have to apply much brain because any income which is generated during the year is always taxable, right? Why Section 9 becomes a lot more important is from the point of view of non-resident. It's from the point of view of non-resident where we have to see whether it would be taxable or whether it would not be taxable. And that depends upon two factors, whether it is received in India or not, or whether it is accrued in India or not, or deemed to accrue in India or not, or deemed to receive in India or not. See, accruing is outside, receiving is India, you'll always tax. Accruing in India, receiving outside India, still always tax. So the point is that you have to ultimately see whether it is in India or not. So, Anne Marilyn, if the business or profession is in India, it would be taxable. Yeah, but if the business and profession is outside India, but it is controlled from India, it would be taxable only in the case of ROR and RNOR. ROR case, it's always taxable. Jinith, SEZ is a topic which would come soon and you can take up then. I'll confirm Priyank for the Hindi medium thing, okay? Karthik, for what services pay to Indian citizen outside India for the services related to fully to Indian work? Yeah, government would pay you. The way I gave an example of diplomats, Indian High Commission में जो लोग बाहर है, India में if you have seen embassies who are embassies of different countries, right? So उनका salary is paid by their government. Similarly, Indian embassy would be in different countries outside India. उनका salary is paid by our government. So that is the most common example to take up here. So now let's begin with our new topic, which is new topic as in section 9, subsection 1, clause 5, right? Okay. Interest. Up interest income, when would be it deemed to accrue or arise in India? It's very simple. I'll zoom out. Interest income क्या होता है when loan is given or some borrowings are there, right? So now you have to think yourself as non-resident. When an interest income would be taxable in the hands of non-resident. Carefully, let's listen. So an interest income would be taxable in the hands of non-resident as income deemed to accrue or arise in India when it is received from government of India. When it is received from government of India. So अगर government of India ने आपको interest pay करा है, if the government of India has paid you interest, no matter for what the purpose is, the loan has been taken from you and they are paying you interest. So that interest would always be taxable in India. That interest would always be taxable in India, irrespective of the fact that loan was given in foreign currency, irrespective of the fact that the loan is used outside India. No, government of India ने आपको tax interest दिया, it would always be taxable. Don't worry, government is not giving interest to every non-resident. किसी non-resident ने कुछ government instruments में if they have invested or government taking loans from foreign institutions on that particular interest I'm talking about. Okay, it would always be taxable in India. Second, an interest can be paid to you by a resident in India. So if I am a resident in India, you are a non-resident, I am paying you interest. When I will be paying you interest? When I've taken a loan from you, right? So if I am paying you interest, that interest would be taxable. So you have to see the recipient, basically, and the recipient has to see the person who is making the payment, who is the payer of interest in that particular case. If it is government, it is always taxable. If it is resident, it is always taxable, yes. But except in the situation where I have taken loan or where I have used that debt for the purposes for a business or profession outside India, or to earn any income from any source outside India. मैम इसका क्या मतलब है? 1 second. So I told you any resident paying an interest to non-resident would always be taxable in the hands of non-resident. But if there is an exception. Exception kya hai? That if I have taken a loan from you and I am using that loan to generate any income from any source outside India or to run any business or profession which is outside India, then that interest would not be taxable. So can I say when the debt is used in India, then that interest would be taxable? Yes, you can say that. But resident ke case mein, you will write it as an exception. Exception, that means when it interest would not be taxable. So suppose I have taken a loan from you and I purchased shares of a foreign company. Okay. Now, foreign company hai, sources outside India. If on that loan I'm paying you interest, that would not be taxable in your hand. If on that loan I'm paying you interest, that would not be taxable. Reason is simple. The debt is used to generate any income which is outside India. Or if I've taken loan from you and I've set up a business in Bali, okay, which is outside India. Now, if any interest I'm paying you for it, it would not be taxable in your hand. So you have to see the payer, and if the payer is resident, you have to see the purpose for which the loan is used. It should not be used for the purpose outside India. Otherwise, if it is used for the purpose outside India, it would be not taxable in the hands of non-resident. Okay. Next, अगर non-resident को non-resident से interest मिल रहा है तो non-resident is receiving interest from non-resident, then will it be taxable? Yes, only if that loan or that debt is used for the purpose of business in India. Business or profession in India. So simple सा situation है. रेजिडेंट के लिए एक्सेप्शन है कि आउटसाइड इंडिया यूज नहीं होना चाहिए. नॉन रेजिडेंट के लिए कंडीशन है दैट इट शुड बी यूज फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ बिजनेस इन इंडिया. बिजनेस इन इंडिया. So whenever interest ka taxability comes for a non-resident, you have to see who's the payer. If the payer is government, always taxable. If the payer is resident, always taxable, except for the situation when that loan is used for the purpose of earning an income outside India or for the purpose of business outside India. Non-resident ke liye, always taxable? No. Only taxable when the loan is used for the purpose of business or profession in India. बेसिकली अगर आप वो लोन इंडिया के लिए यूज कर रहे हो तो उसका इंटरेस्ट वुड बी टैक्सेबल एज इनकम डीम्ड टू अक्रू इन इंडिया. ऑल इन ऑल. बट यहाँ पे गाइस ओनली इट्स रिटन बिजनेस पर्पस. Business purpose. So if that non-resident is lending loan to another non-resident and the another non-resident is using that loan to earn any other income except from a business, it would not be taxable. जैसे in your book an example is also given. A non-resident borrows money from B, a non-resident, and invests the same in shares of Indian company. Interest payable by A to B will not deem to accrue in India. Why? Because the money which was borrowed by the non-resident was used for the purpose other than business. And other than businesses, it is not a case of taxability in India. Agar I am taking loan from a non-resident and using it purely for the purpose of business or profession, then whatever in India, then whatever interest I'm paying to the non-resident would be taxable in his hand. But if I'm using it for any other purpose, then whatever interest I'm paying to him would not be taxable in his hand. Simple. So non-resident के केस में कब interest taxable होगा? See the payer, see the purpose. Purpose in India, taxable. Purpose in India मतलब business or profession in India in case of non-resident, and resident के केस में always taxable except it is used for a purpose outside India, which is business or profession outside India or other sources income outside India. समझ आया? Any doubt? Interest में? Sarvangi, would be taxable in India. Guys, यहाँ पे interest income has to be seen. Non-resident is trading in shares of Indian company, so it is first wala clause which we said that if income is coming from an asset situated in India, it would be taxable in India. Or income is coming from a transfer of capital asset situated in India, it would be taxed in India. यहाँ पे guys interest income की बात हो रही है. Interest income non-resident या RNOR को कब generate होगा? When it would be generated? When it is from a loan. When they have given a loan and now they are getting an income. So you have to income in the form of interest. So you have to simply see who is paying that interest. If the payee is the payer of interest is government, it would always be taxable as income deemed to accrue in India. If the payer of the interest is resident, it would always be taxable as income deemed to accrue or arise in India, except for the situation where the loan which has been taken by the resident. दो लोग हैं, resident loan ले रहे, interest आपको देखना है income accruing for you. And I am the person who has taken the loan. So if I have used that loan for any purpose outside India, for carrying on any business or profession outside India, or for generating any income outside India, then as a resident, whatever interest I'm paying to you would not be taxable in your hand. Otherwise, it would always be taxable. And for any loan taken from one non-resident by another non-resident, and I am that person who is paying the interest as a non-resident, it would only be taxable when I have taken the loan for the purpose of carrying on business in India. Simple. Parth, is it clear now? Swati, if it's a pure business, which is any business, be it of trading of shares also, it would be taxable. Interest income, which is coming from a loan, which is used for the purpose of taking shares. Guys, if in point is only for interest and interest is coming for loan. आपको देखना है वो loan कहाँ use हुआ है by the payer. As simple as that. You have to see where that loan is used by the payer of the interest. आपको जिससे interest मिल रहा होगा, you might be getting interest from someone to whom you have lent loan. So that person, first point is you have to see who is that person, whether that person is resident, whether that person is non-resident, whether that person is government. Then you have to see for what purpose that loan was used. Simple है ना, Indian income का माना जाएगा interest जब उसका लोन इंडिया के पर्पस के लिए यूज हुआ है, एज सिंपल एज दैट। अगर लोन आउटसाइड इंडिया इनकम जनरेट करने के लिए यूज हुआ है तो वो नहीं माना जाएगा, सिंपल। इन केस ऑफ नॉन रेजिडेंट पार्ट, दोनों पर्सन आर नॉन रेजिडेंट, सिंपल। I am also sitting abroad, you are also sitting abroad. You are also non-resident, I am also non-resident. You lend me money to do, you lend me money and I'll pay you interest. But now that money is used in India for purpose of generating business income. Then it would, that interest, see business income वो India की है, वो मेरे हाथ में taxable होगा. Here we are not talking about business income. Here I am talking about the loan से related interest which I am paying to you. बिजनेस इनकम मेरे हाथ में टैक्सेबल होगा, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग, दैट इज कवर्ड अंडर डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द इंटरेस्ट व्हिच इज कमिंग टू यू, वो टैक्सेबल होगा, यस वो टैक्सेबल होगा। व्हाई? बिकॉज द लोन वाज यूज्ड फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ generating business in income in India. Okay. But suppose I am also non-resident sitting abroad, you're also non-resident sitting abroad, you gave me loan, I invested it in some FD in India. मैंने फिक्स डिपॉजिट में डाल दिया वो अमाउंट, ठीक है। अब विल इट बी टैक्सेबल? फिक्स डिपॉजिट से जो इंटरेस्ट आ रहा होगा वो मेरा इनकम है, एज माई इनकम। आई हैव टू सी इज इट टैक्सेबल? यस, बिकॉज इट्स फ्रॉम अ इनकम फ्रॉम एनी सोर्स in India, section 9 subsection 1 clause 1. But whether that interest would be taxable in your hand, the answer is no, because when the interest is paid by non-resident to another non-resident, which is you have to see whether that loan was used to generate income, business income in India or not. Simple. Rahul, please categorize the incomes which we are seeing, and I hope it is clear now. Swati, is it clear? See, interest wala point समझ आएगा अपने आप. Next two points are on the same lines. They're exactly on the same line with just slight difference. So if this is not clear, baki maybe it would be a question, confusion. No, Ruturaj, no. It is not from that perspective. Focus on the word interest income. Interest income would come from another person. अब वो another person को कौन सा income हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा, we don't have to see. We have to see interest income जिससे आ रहा है. We have to see for whether, and the loan purpose, whether to see whether it is taxable or not. राहुल, रेजिडेंट का नहीं है ना इनकम, इंटरेस्ट इनकम नॉन रेजिडेंट का इस केस में। गाइस, इज इट क्लियर? श्योर। Next type of income which we'll be discussing is royalty income. That when would royalty income be decriminalized? Totally same, guys, exactly same. You don't have to worry. But before I go on making you understand when the royalty income would be taxable in India, I want to understand what is royalty. I want to understand it from you, that what is your idea of royalty? What do you understand when I say the term royalty? Now, we are not going on taxability perspective. We are understanding what royalty is actually. For you, when I say the term royalty, what comes in your mind? Okay, someone says lease, someone says commission, someone says when a person pays rent for any license or part. Okay, exclusive rights to use a formula. Very good. Okay. Authors को भी रॉयल्टी मिलता है. Publishing books income. Sonia is saying absolutely. Shivam, copyright, considerations for rights. Okay, recurring payment for work done earlier, like books. Very good. So you have, all of you have somewhat of an idea what royalty is. So now what royalty actually means, it's exactly something which you are giving to someone to use something, right? And that particular thing can be any formula, can be any invention. Absolutely right. It can be a one-time thing, it can be a recurring thing. Recurring thing matlab based on the usage. So when someone develops something which is so exclusive, be it in the form of any secret formula, be it the form of invention, be it in the form of design, be it in the form of any work of art, movies, song, lyrics, any particular instrument which is so exclusive for the use. So they tend to protect it. They tend to protect it because it's a result of lots of labor, lots of skills, lots of efforts, lots of R&D, right? So people try to protect that. अब वो protect करके if someone else want to use, so you give them the right to use that particular asset. You might not be transferring it completely, but you're giving them some exclusive right to use that particular formula, that particular invention, that particular design, that particular methodology, anything. If when something is exclusive just of you and you're giving it to others to use it. For example, I'm an author. Who would be writing the book? The author. But who would be publishing the book? The publisher. The publisher, right? So I would give my work of labor of writing the book and everything to the publisher, and publisher in return gives me royalty. Publisher in returns give me royalty. Why? Because whatever he would be earning by selling the book, that is different. But so how did he get the book material was from me. So royalty is something which is giving me for my true work, which I took. So that is why people tend to protect those rights or protect those work exclusively from through copyrights, through trademarks, through patents. They try to get the exclusive rights and then they sell that particular thing or items or designs or formulas to other person and they get royalty in return. They get royalty in return. Okay, you can take an example of books, you can take an example of some secret formula or some secret recipe which I used. Now, if I have developed some secret recipe and that recipe is now used by say Maggie. They are using it in their Maggie masala or any product. So they might be paying me royalty for it. Or like KFC. KFC ka secret masala hai, right? Now if that person is giving it to other person to use, that the other person would might be paying royalty for it. Might be paying royalty for it. Even computer software. See, computer software which you purchase, these are also the payment which you're making actually is in the form of royalty only because the developer has developed that software. And that is that software is again a product of his labor, his skills, his testing, etc., etc. And now you're purchasing that software. So the consideration which you pay for them actually comes under the meaning of royalty only. You don't use the word royalty, but yeah, that consideration is royalty. But again, maybe there are a lot of case laws which come for computer softwares, etc. For example, the government, the CBDT has clarified that if the computer software already comes pre-installed in a device, then that would not be case of royalty. Then that would not be a case of royalty because it is already pre-installed in a device which you are purchasing and you're making the payment for device. So that would not be considered as royalty. But yeah, if I'm purchasing a computer software online, that payment which I'm making to the other person, that would be royalty. Okay. Now coming to the definition, royalty means consideration, and that consideration can be lump sum or can be recurring for transfer of all or any rights in respect of patent, invention, model, design, secret formula, or process, methods, or trademark or similar property. आपने किसी को license दे दिया, किसी को right दे दिया to use what is yours, and that person is paying you the consideration, and that consideration is termed as royalty. Royalty can also be a consideration for imparting any information concerning the working of or the use of patent, invention, model, design, secret formula or process or trademark or similar property. आपने उसको right नहीं दिया, but you give some information regarding that, and for that information you're getting something that is also royalty. For use of any patent, invention, model, design, secret formula or process or trademark, you have not given them right, you have not given them information, you're just letting them use. That is also a royalty if the consideration is paid to you. For imparting any information concerning technical, industrial, commercial, or specific knowledge, experience, or skill. कोई specific knowledge, skill, specific कला के लिए, any relation के लिए you're passing on, you're giving on an information, that is royalty. We guys, we're not understanding the deemed to accrue concept. We're just understanding the term royalty. Okay. Use or right to use any industrial, commercial, or scientific equipment. So any specific equipment which I am letting you use, for that, if I'm paying you anything, that is royalty. See, guys, rent is different and royalty is different. Rent is not that exclusive and that special in nature, where you have developed a property with lots of technical use, etc., etc. If I've developed an asset, if I've developed an equipment which is very exclusive, one thing, by a lot of brain, then I'm letting you use that, but I'm giving you a right to use that. In that case, if I get anything, that is royalty. Transfer of any or all rights in respect of copyright, literary, artistic, scientific work, including films, videotapes, for use in connection with televisions, or tapes for use in connection with radio broadcasting. You know, the movies which you see and go to theater to see, the distributor pays royalty to the production house. Distributor कौन होते हैं? The person who takes the rights of the film and then distribute to PVRs, multiplexes. So those distributors are paying royalties to the production house. That royalty can be based on sale, based on tickets. That is a different thing, but this is how the process works, and that is why it is called royalty. Rendering of any services in connection with the activities listed above and with getting a consideration for that would be considered as royalty. So royalty is a wide enough term to cover both copyrights and industrial royalties. This definition excludes capital income. Transferring of an asset altogether is capital gain, but giving just right to use it or letting you use it and getting a consideration for that is royalty. Okay, so now let's understand when would royalty be taxed in the hands of non-resident or RNOR, or basically when would royalty be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Something almost similar to interest, but just a very slight difference. सेम रॉयल्टी किसको मिल रहा है नॉन रेजिडेंट को बिकॉज रेजिडेंट को रॉयल्टी मिल रहा है तो इट इज एनीवे टैक्सेबल ना नॉन रेजिडेंट या आरएनआर को वी हैव टू सी व्हेन इट इज डीम्ड टू accrue इन इंडिया राइट सो इफ द रॉयल्टी इज पेड बाय गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया if the royalty is paid by government of India, it would always be taxable in the hands of non-resident. Next, if the royalty is paid by resident, the royalty is paid by a resident, it will always be taxable in the hands of non-resident. Again, except in the situation when the royalty which is paid by the resident, when the royalty is paid by the resident for whatever the purpose is, and that particular asset or that particular right or that particular use of the royalty is done to generate any business income outside India, or any other income outside India, then it would not be taxable. Simple sa situation hai. I am a resident, I am paying you royalty and you are a non-resident. Will it be taxable? Yes, in all circumstances. But if I am paying you royalty for some transferring of some right or getting some right, and that particular right I'm using for my business which is outside India, then in that case it would not be taxable. That royalty would not be taxable in your hand. For example, I took a secret formula from you to make some particular type of hair care product, okay? And that factory of hair care product is outside India. The business is run for outside India. अब आपको the royalty which I am paying to you, to get that secret formula for the hair care product. But the business is where? Outside India. So that royalty which I am paying to you, will it be taxable in your hand? The answer is no. Because the use of royalty is done to generate any income outside India, which is any business income or income from any other source outside India. Right? Got it? So it would not be taxable in your hand. Similarly, if the royalty is paid by one non-resident to another non-resident, will it be taxable? Prima facie, no, but it would be taxable if the royalty is paid by a non-resident in respect of any right, property, or information which is used to earn any business income in India. Business, and by business I mean, guys, professional income also, or which is used to earn any income in India from any source. तो सिंपल सी बात है गाइस, बहुत सिंपल सी बात है. रेजिडेंट जब रॉयल्टी पे कर रहा है तो उसका पर्पस आउटसाइड इंडिया नहीं होना चाहिए. नॉन रेजिडेंट जब रॉयल्टी पे कर रहा है तो उसका पर्पस इन इंडिया ही होना चाहिए. सिंपल. When a person is paying when the royalty is paid or payable by a resident, it would always be taxable in the hands of non-resident or in the hands of other person, provided the royalty provided the royalty which is paid for any right, information, formula, etc., is not used for any business income outside India or any other income outside India in case of resident, and non-resident it would only be taxable in case of non-resident when it is used for the purpose of earning any business income in India or any income from any source in India. अब आप बोलोगे कि मैम this and interest is same. No, guys, there is one slight difference between taxability of interest and taxability of royalty as income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Can you tell me what is that difference? Can anyone tell me what is that difference? See, look, compare. What is difference? Ruturaj, absolutely correct. Rito, absolutely correct. See, interest income in the case of non-resident being paid by non-resident. was taxable in India only when the loan is used for the purpose of generating business or profession income in India. ठीक है? But royalty के case में royalty paid by another non-resident paid by another resident to another non-resident to another non-resident would be taxable in India only if the purpose for which the royalty is paid is used for generating any business income or any other income or any other income also. इंटरेस्ट टैक्सेबल होता था व्हेन खाली बिजनेस इनकम जनरेट करता था नॉन रेजिडेंट फ्रॉम दैट लोन. बट रॉयल्टी कब टैक्सेबल होगी? जब बिजनेस इनकम या कोई भी इनकम अ पर्सन इज जनरेटिंग from that royalty from the use of anything for which the royalty is paid. Okay, that is the difference, and you have to remember that difference. Very good, Kadambari. Very good, Shreyas. Very good. Yes, you have to see पर्पस देखना है. इंटरेस्ट के भी केस में लोन का पर्पस देखना है, रॉयल्टी के केस में भी यू हैव टू सी वेयर इट इज गेटिंग यूज्ड. I'm not talking about the guy's income which is generated by that particular resident or by that particular non-resident or by government of India. I'm talking about the income which is getting whatever for the purpose of whatever is the usage for which that royalty or for which that interest is paid. Okay. Next, FTS is exactly same like royalty. The taxability is exactly same. Hardik, I'll try and I'm trying to use it also. So please pay attention. Fee for technical services. Fee for technical services क्या होता है guys? What is fee for technical services? What is fee for technical services? As the name suggests, it's a fee only, but fee can be any consideration. Can be any consideration. One second. Lump sum or recurring does not matter for rendering any managerial, technical, or consultancy services. अब किसी ने मुझे consultancy provide करी for any advisory, that the payment which I'm making to them is fee for technical services, guys. Someone is providing me services in relation to HR recruitment. That is fee for technical services. BPO, that is fee for technical services. Someone is providing me services to take care of my softwares or take care of my project work or to get the feasibility report or to get any reports. That is technical services. कोई भी particular skill oriented, particular advisory oriented skills को provide करता है, and for that if I'm paying them the fee, that is called FTS. इसको very commonly we call as FTS, fee for technical services. But obviously, it would not cover salaries income. So if I am paying to you something and that is covered under salaries, then it is not fee for technical services, even if it is for some technical or managerial work. But if I am paying you any fee or any consideration which is for some consultancy and you are not my employee, then it will come under FTS. Then it would come under FTS, fee for technical services. टेक्निकल नॉलेज हो गया, एनी असिस्टेंस, एनी एडवाइजरी, एनी कंसल्टेंसी, एनी मैनेजरियल related up, जैसे you have to start a project or not and they are providing you services to do that feasibility report, to do that testing report, to do that market survey. Every that particular services comes, it's a very wide term, comes under a fee for technical services. Here also it is exactly same like royalty. Fee for technical services would be deemed to accrue or arise in India if it is paid by government paid by or payable by government, if it is payable by a resident, except in a situation where the fees which is payable by the resident is utilized in a business carried on by such person outside India or for the purpose of making or earning any income from any source outside India. Suppose किसी से मैंने consultancy ली whether to invest in shares of USA or not. I am a resident, you are the person from whom I took that consultancy, and I'm paying you the FTS for it. I'm paying you the FTS for it, as in fee for technical services for it. Will it be taxable in your hand? The answer is no. The answer is no. The reason is the fee which I'm paying to you was to earn any income outside India. Okay? And similarly, when the fee for technical services is paid by one non-resident to another non-resident, it would only be taxable when it is used to earn a business or profession in India or used to earn any income from any source in India. Exactly similar like royalty, the fee for technical services would be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Nothing different. So in all the cases of whether it's interest, whether it's royalty, whether it's fee for technical services, there is no way out by the non-resident saying कि भाई मैंने ये services तो इंडिया में आके दी ही नहीं, तो why it is deemed to accrue or arise in India? It does not matter. अब suppose you are giving me advisory, I'm a person resident in India. You are giving me consultancy from sitting in your office in New York. Okay, you're telling me whether should I go for this project or not, and that project is in India. It will be taxable in your hand. That fee for technical services would be taxable in your hand because the purpose for which that fee is paid to you is ultimately used in India. It would be taxable in your hand. You cannot say that we did not come to India to provide it. We never come to India. No contract was given in India. The consideration was also received outside India. Does not matter. It is said to be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Simple. Even if two non-residents are sitting outside having a meeting in New York office, but they are discussing for a project or for a business which has to be started in India. And then that fees which is paid by me to you would be taxable in India. Why? Because it is deemed to accrue or arise in India because for the purpose for which the fees is paid is for the purpose which is to be utilized for having a business in India. Got it? These are all the examples in relation to understand interest, royalty, and fee for technical services. Royalty and fee for technical services का treatment is exactly similar. समझा तीनों पॉइंट्स में कोई डाउट एक बारी गिव अ रीड टेक अ मिनट गिव अ रीड Devendra, what is the question? IT or skill-based services, these are all fee for technical services. Interest, royalty, and fee के case में you have ultimately have to see the purpose for which it is used by the payer. Simple. Satya Lakshmi Sai Kumar, if times allow, I can take it because I have not taken this topic at all with you, and other people would get confused. So this would be the last query if I have to take. If you think this is the case, you can talk to the institute because except you, I haven't seen anyone commenting like that. I don't know why people get right to say anything and everything. Forget it. I will take Zahida, I will take an illustration also. This is only for interest, royalties, fees. See, पहला वाला केस क्या था? Section 9 subsection 1 clause 1 में any income from any business connection. any income from any source in India, any income from transfer of capital assets situated in India. Second example was of salary. Third example was also of salary, but for the services which are rendered by outside India, but the employer was government. Fourth was for dividend. Fifth was for interest. Sixth is for royalty. Seventh is for fee for technical services. Okay, Anne Mary? See, all the cases regarding taxability, especially when it comes to interest, royalty, and FTS, are seen in depth. Are seen in depth. Exactly. They are not like kaise pata chalega. No. The scenarios are discussed. The people who are making the payments are seen, and then ultimately it comes to taxability or not. हम क्यों law पढ़ रहे हैं? Because we want to know now what does the law say so that we can advise everyone right. I'll quote it. I'll definitely do it at the end of the class. Just remind me. Belu are exactly right. Interest paid by a resident to non-resident for loan taken from him. Is it allowable as deduction for such resident? Yeah, deduction hoga. Swati, interest payment ka deduction hoga if it is for business. That is a different thing. What different perspective hai? यहाँ पे Swati, we are talking about the taxability of the income. We are talking about the whether that income is deemed to accrue or arise in India. And income किसको हो रहा है? Interest वाला to the non-resident. See, agar resident co rate is always taxable. We don't have to apply so much of brain. The brain comes in mind when it is a resident or an RNOR, sorry, non-resident or an RNOR, because then we have to see whether it is deemed to accrue or arise in India. And for that, whether it is deemed to accrue or arise in India, you have to see the purpose for which the purpose ultimately for which that income is generated, the interest or the royalty or the fee for technical services, what where that particular thing is used, where that loan is used for in case of interest, where the information etc. is used in case of royalty, where that particular services would be utilized in case of fee for technical services. Interest received from Indian company is a resident. Basically, Indian company is always resident, right? Now you have to see whether that Indian company is using that loan for the purpose of generating any business income outside India or for purpose of generating any other income outside India, then it would not be taxable in your hand as a non-resident. Resident के case में read through, it is always taxable. टेरिटोरियल नेक्सस फ्रेम का जो मैंने एग्जांपल दिया था कि नॉन रेजिडेंट इंडिया आया नहीं आया, दैट इज कॉल्ड टेरिटोरियल नेक्सस. Yes, exactly. It is enough for everything. Thank you, Anne Marie. Devendra, except you, we have almost hundreds to take every doubt of you, or if any doubt is unanswered, then please speak. Otherwise, it's totally fine. So, Dhoti and everyone, you're saying how would they segregate whether it's fee for technical services or not? Trust me, fee for technical services, when there are thousands of case laws or cases which are pending at different levels, whether it is fee for technical services or not, बहुत deliberation जाता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि today you have learned it and read it and you have to apply the law as it is, because obviously the situations in real life would be bit tricked up, would be bit twisted, and you have to see whether the law gets applied there or not. And there can be thousands of situations. Yes, Rahul, simply you can say it, but law language, law क्या कहते हैं, we have to understand that. If I'm a non-resident and earn some income from another non-resident outside India, then after earning, I deposited that fees in my Indian bank account. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Ramchandra, if you are a non-resident and you are earning interest from me, I'm also non-resident. आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि जो मैंने आपने मुझे लोन दिया, the loan which you have given to me, where I'm using it, whether I'm using that loan for earning any business income in India, yes or no. If I'm not using that loan to earn any business income in India, then the interest which I'm paying to you is non-taxable. Period. अब वो interest आप कैसे use करते कि whatever income you generate, then you have to see the scenario as per that income. Which suppose that interest income you deposited in an Indian bank and now you're earning interest on that, then it is taxable in India because it is from income from any source in India. The accounting charges are better, I'll say. Any consultancy or any advisory would come under fee for technical services. Accounting are like professional services. Friends, abhi ke liye, my schedule is only rest. I'll be joining if the time allows. Okay. So I believe interest, royalty, and fee for technical services पूरा clear हो गया, correct? Sure. Great. Now, एक last point रह गया. When would income be deemed to accrue or arise in India? Absolutely last, and this point was added a past couple of years back, uh, and now it is amended also. Simple Sahib. होता क्या था? Listen, why this is very funny. Why this particular part is taxable? So what used to happen is people used to go outside India. They used to give gifts. Gifts. अभी सिर्फ इतना समझना, like gifts to their non-resident cousins, non-resident relatives. Okay, so they used to give, give gifts. Okay, so अब technically ये gift non-resident का income है, right? Gift is also an income. अभी you will see other sources में gift is also an income. If it is more than 50,000 during a year, it is also an income. अब टेक्निकली नॉन रेजिडेंट बाहर बैठा हुआ है, ही वुड नेवर कंसिडर एंड इवन थिंक ऑफ पेइंग टैक्स ऑन दिस, even think of paying tax on it. But government said no, it is an income deemed to accrue or arise in India if it is coming from resident in India. So if any resident in India is giving gifts to non-resident, non-corporate foreign companies, or even to RNOR, that gift would be taxable in India. That gift would be taxable in India as income deemed to accrue or arise in India to this particular non-resident. But gift taxable India में कब होता है? जब वो 50,000 से above. At this stage, it is more than enough when it exceeds 50K. So suppose I am a resident in India, I go and meet my cousin who is non-resident in India, and I give him a gift of say 70,000. Of 70,000. Will it be taxable as income deemed to accrue or arise in India? Yes, it would be income deemed to accrue or arise in India for that non-resident. Why? Because I am a resident who has paid him that gift. I am a resident who have paid him that gift, and that 70,000 is his income deemed to accrue or arise in India for my cousin. Okay? Any income arising outside India, being any sum of money paid without consideration means as a gift by an Indian resident person to a non-corporate, non-resident or foreign companies or to a RNOR would be deemed to accrue or arise in India if the same is chargeable under section 56 to 10. ये गिफ्ट का चार्जिंग सेक्शन है, गिफ्ट का सेक्शन है, एंड अगर वो उस सेक्शन में कवर होता है, it would be taxed in India. This would be taxed as income deemed to accrue or arise in India. So this is all about income deemed to accrue or arise in India, where we saw that income deemed to accrue or arise in India would be any income accruing from any business connection in India, any source in India, any particular asset in India, or from any transfer of capital assets situated in India. Then salaries income would be deemed to accrue or arise in India if it is from services rendered in India. Then salary income paid by Indian government to any Indian citizen for services rendered outside India would also be income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Then dividend received from an Indian company, even outside India, would be income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Then interest would be income deemed to accrue or arise in India if it is from government of India, if it is from resident of India, provided it is not used for any purpose outside India. I'm just writing any purpose right now. And if it is from a non-resident, provided the loan is used for the purpose of earning business income in India. Okay? Then we saw royalty and FTS. They would be taxable as income in India, or they would be deemed to accrue or arise in India if it is received from government of India, if it is received from resident who is not using it for any purpose outside India, if it is received from non-resident who is using it for generating any income in India. And also, gift would be taxable in the hands of non-resident or RNOR as income deemed to accrue or arise in India if it is received from resident. If it is received from resident and is for a value of more than 50,000. Okay. So with this, our income deemed to accrue or arise in India also gets over. With this, our residential status chapter also gets over. कहीं पे भी किसी को डाउट है रिगार्डिंग रेजिडेंशियल स्टेटस? Anyone has any doubt? Okay, so if an Indian person is doing job in US, then he will pay tax India or US. See, Gunjan, first you have to see his residential status. If that person is resident, then his entire income is taxable. If that person is non-resident, then only income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India or received in India would be taxable, right? If income of that US company is paid in Indian account, it is taxable because it is received in India. If it is not received in India, then you have to see whether it is deemed to accrue or arise in India or not. So if you're doing job in US, you're a non-resident, you're getting it outside India, then it would not be taxable. But suppose you're doing job in US and the payment is made by government of India. Payment is made by government of India, it would be taxable if you are an Indian citizen. So वो सारे cases को one by one you have to check. If you've taken loan from American resident, Mamta, first you have to see what is your status. Are you a non-resident? You have taken a loan from another non-resident only, now. So you have to see whether you're using it for the purpose of business in India or not. Then that interest income would be taxable for the other non-resident. So see, Ankur, any amount in excess of 50,000, total, agar if crosses 50,000, total amount is taxable. Karthik, I know it is funny, but this is how it is. See, Janet, the example to give for non-resident was not for someone like my cousins or your cousins or anyone relatives. It is for the people who used to show it as gift outside India. And by gift, I mean huge amount of gift. They are giving shares, they are giving everything outside India. But it was not taxable because gifting outside India was never covered under any of the provisions, right? So that's why they got up with the thing called gift. Sure, Rohit, I'll try. करेक्ट, रेजिडेंसी गिफ्ट्स आर टैक्सेबल। अभी आप आगे पढ़ोगे, चाहे वो नॉन रेजिडेंट हो रेजिडेंट हो, वो टैक्सेबल होता है इंडिया में। गुंजन, इट इज ऑलवेज टैक्सेबल इन इंडिया, बट स्पेशली दिस प्रोविजन वाज इंक्लूडेड फॉर दोज पीपल जो गिफ्ट्स बाहर जाके देते थे, दोज हु यूज्ड टू गिव गिफ्ट्स आउटसाइड इंडिया, तो उनके लिए दिस प्रोविजन गॉट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड। No, Anmol, you will not say that if the loan is taken by anyone for any business and profession in India, then interest on loan is taxable in the hands of recipient. No, because first of all, the recipient has to be non-resident. If it is a person who is resident, anyway, the interest income would be taxable. ठीक है, non-resident या RNOR. The point is, अगर वो रेजिडेंट से आ रहा है तो किसी पर्पस आउटसाइड इंडिया यूज नहीं होना चाहिए, बिकॉज बिजनेस अगर वो इंडिया में, इफ आई एम अ रेजिडेंट, listen carefully Anmol, and I've taken a loan from you as a non-resident and I'm using it to invest in shares in India, it would be taxable now. It would not be taxable if I, being a non-resident, take a loan from you and invest in shares in India. So you have to see, pehle tabhi I said, see who is the payer and then see the purpose, then only it would be clear. They have to, every non-resident has to file the return. Gifts given by resident is not, Rito, not technically taxable. I'm saying, see, gifts India में होते हैं तो it is taxable as per law. लोग क्या करते थे? They used to be very smart. When they used to give non-resident gifts, they used to give it outside India so that it should never be covered. But now they've covered that also, that even if gifts are given outside India to a non-resident, but if it is given by residents, it would be taxable. Loan from non-resident used in India for not business use for personal, then it would be taxable. Simple. मिल किसको रहा है इंटरेस्ट इनकम? नॉन रेजिडेंट को। लोन उसने लिया नॉन रेजिडेंट से, एंड द पर्सन हु इज पेइंग इंटरेस्ट, the person who is paying interest is non-resident. Now you have to see whether that loan was used for the purpose of business in India. If it is used for the purpose of business, it would be taxable in the case of other person. Otherwise, it would not be taxable. If you're a non-resident, you have done job outside India, it would not be taxable until unless the income is deemed to receive in India, or until unless the income is deemed to accrue or arise in India. आपने services बाहर render किया गुंजन, it would not be taxable. Simple. No, Janet, don't go in that route. वहां से confusion होगा. Don't build that understanding. आउटसाइड इंडिया टेम्पल है, उसका इनकम टैक्सेबल इंडिया में होगा या नहीं होगा? नहीं होगा गाइस। और टेम्पल्स एंड ट्रस्ट के लिए अलग से टैक्सेबिलिटी का चैप्टर है। यू आर एट स्टेज वन, रादर स्टेज वन के भी स्टेज वन पे हो। इतना सारी चीजें हाइपोथेटिकली मत लो, बिकॉज अभी वी आर जस्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग वेदर दैट इनकम इज टैक्सेबल इन इंडिया और नॉट। नाउ हाउ मच इट वुड बी टैक्सेबल, हाउ आर द प्रोविजंस ऑफ इट इज गेटिंग टैक्स, एवरीथिंग यू विल कवर इन चैप्टर बाय चैप्टर। किसी का और कोई डाउट रह गया आंसर करने के लिए? Necessary to learn all the sections and subsections? Rather, I'll say few you always have to learn. Pallavi, for example, section 9, subsection 1, उसमें 8 पॉइंट्स है, अभी साथ साथ हमने रिवाइज किया, हो गया ना, वैसे ही हो जाएगा, डोंट वरी. Similarly, section 6 is for residential status, you can learn that. Section 10 you should know it is for income not taxable in India. Section 2s are for definition. So basic पे two बड़े sections पे focus करो, then come to clauses and sub clauses and subsections. Okay. Muthu, what is your question? Thank you, Priyanka. I will take puzzle, don't worry. If the income arises outside India and received in India by RNOR, will it be taxable? Yes, Sanjana, because received in India है ना. Received है तो already taxable होगा. अभी we'll do the questions. Recipient of income pays the tax. So gift के case में recipient of the person is the recipient of the gift. Gandhi, he would be required to pay the tax. I'll come to that. Fancy, don't worry. Or everything in relation to preparation, everything, I'll take 5 minutes at the end. Gunjan Kumar, your question is clear. Hardik, I hope your question is clear. Devendra, income which is generated, any income which you're getting, anything which you're getting free of cost is gift. And that is an income from the perspective of the Income Tax Act. But how much is an income? Only when it crosses more than 50,000. Only when it crosses more than 50,000. How much would be taxable? Entire amount when it crosses 50,000. उसका संगीता आई विल कम टू दैट. किसी को रेजिडेंशियल स्टेटस से रिलेटेड कोई डाउट है? आई वी विल डू इलस्ट्रेशन 8 राइट नाउ. थैंक यू जेनेट. Gunjan, yes, America. See, every country has their own tax laws, which we are not coming to. We're talking about Indian tax laws. Will it be there? Answer is yes. If your relative in UK is sending you money, if it is more than 50,000, it is taxable, irrespective of whatever purpose you're saying. Government कहती है गिफ्ट भी तो इनकम है ना, आपको कुछ चीज फ्री मिल रहा है, इट इज इनकम. 50,000 से ज्यादा मिल रहा है, इट इज इनकम. टोटल एवरीथिंग इज इनकम. Yes, 50,000 limit is for an year. अभी गिफ्ट आप डिटेल में पढ़ोगे सेक्शन 56 सबसेक्शन 2 क्लॉज 10 में. एवरीथिंग इज देयर. Pooja, what is your query? Yeah, please, if any query is missed, please resend it. Gift in cash, gift in kind, everything is covered. सी मेरे को गिफ्ट का सेक्शन पढ़ाना नहीं है, मेरे को बस इतना. अभी अगर इस स्टेज पे गिफ्ट पढ़ाऊंगे तो बहुत ज्यादा टेक्निकल है. ऋतुराज, द लिमिट इज 50,000 per person. If gift is less than 50,000, nothing is taxable. Per person. एक बारी क्वेश्चन करते हैं, स्टेप बाय स्टेप एनालाइज करते हैं और क्लैरिटी आएगा. ठीक है. So this is the illustration which we are doing, and then we'll take a small break. We have to tell it, this illustration is there, we have to tell it whether that income would be taxable in India or not. And we have to calculate the total income, assuming that he has exercised the option of shifting out of default tax regime. अच्छा, ये किसी ने मुझसे पूछा था, shifting out of default tax regime मतलब he is not opting default tax regime. If he is not opting default tax regime, that means he is paying tax as per the old scheme. Now, one by one, we pick up the scenario and we'll see whether that income is taxable in the hands of resident, whether that income is taxable or resident and ordinarily resident, but not ordinarily resident, and NR. Okay? Step by step, we'll pick. I'll tell you how much amount is taxable and how much is not taxable. Let's start. Okay? Interest on UK development bonds, 50% of interest received in India. सबसे पहले रिसीव कितना हुआ है इंडिया में? 50%. अक्रू इंडिया में कितना हुआ है? Nothing, because it is UK development bonds. सबसे पहले ROR के लिए every amount would be taxable. So 10,000 is for ROR. RNOR and NR के लिए only 5,000, because accrue in India है no. Why? Because the asset is situated outside India. The asset is outside India. UK development bonds है. Next, received in India है yes. कितना है? 50%. So 5,000 taxable. Next, income from business in Chennai, 50% is received in India. Source is in India itself. Total amount would be taxable in everyone's hand. सबसे पहले you have to see whether the income is accrued or not in India. Next, short-term capital gains on sale of shares of Indian company received in London. First, guys, point 4 of section 9, subsection 1, clause 1. Income from capital asset situated in India. Income from transfer of capital assets situated in India. Shares of Indian companies are capital assets situated in India. So entire 20K would be taxable. Next, dividend from British company received in London. Accrued be outside India because British company, received be outside India, not taxable in the hands of ROR or RNOR, taxable in the hands of ROR always. Next, blindly नहीं सब कुछ taxable कर देना guys. Long-term capital gain on sale of plant at Germany, 50% of the gains are received in India. Capital gain पूरा का पूरा taxable or 50% received in India. Because the asset is outside India, it is not income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Income from business in Germany, which is controlled in Delhi, 40,000 is received in India. Business कहाँ है? Outside India. कंट्रोल कहाँ से हो रहा है? इंडिया से हो रहा है. 40,000 is received in India. First of all, ROR के लिए पूरा taxable. Next, RNOR के लिए business is outside India, but it is controlled in India, full taxable. Business outside India, controlled in India, कोई concept नहीं है income deemed to accrue in India में, right? But received in India है 40K. So 40K would be taxable. अभी तक ये फर्स्ट 7 पॉइंट्स में किसी को डाउट? आगे का नहीं, फर्स्ट 7 पॉइंट्स में किसी को डाउट? एक बार चेक करो. Janet, ROR के लिए any income which is generated from any source in or outside India is taxable. Then income from interest, it would be taxable if it is used for the purpose to generate income in India by business income in India, if the loan is taken by non-resident, if the loan is taken by resident, by any income in India, provided it is not used for generating any income outside India. बस सिंपल सी बात है. आपको एज अ नॉन रेजिडेंट इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है यूके डेवलपमेंट बॉन्ड से, वो अक्रू इन इंडिया तो है ही नहीं ना. बट जितना पार्ट रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया में हुआ है वो रिसीव इन इंडिया होगा. डिविडेंड ब्रिटिश कंपनी का है, बाहर का डिविडेंड, बट रिसीव हुआ है लंदन में, तो ना ही अक्रूड इन इंडिया है ना ही रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया है फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ नॉन RNOR and NR. But global income is taxable for resident, it would be taxable. Okay. Business controlled in India but business is accruing outside India would be taxable in the case of RNOR, but non-resident के केस में ऐसा कोई concept नहीं है. Which point, Mansi? With who I answered this question, accounting charges are professional, not technical. Gift in kind में yes, we will see fair market value, but वो gift की taxation है, अभी आने वाले chapters में है. Sixth point is income earned from business in Germany, which is controlled in India. Income from outside India, but it is controlled in India, is taxable in the hands of RNOR, but not taxable in the hands of non-resident. Last class में हमने वो टेबल बनाया था, उसमें we saw that income अगर कंट्रोल इंडिया से हो रहा है, बिजनेस कंट्रोल इंडिया से हो रहा है, दिस इज नॉट बिजनेस कनेक्शन गाइस. बिजनेस कनेक्शन में प्रॉपर एजेंट वर्ड लिखा होगा. इट्स जस्ट अ कंट्रोलिंग. द ब्रेन sits in India, the brain of the business is sitting in India, the person who has the vital decision making power. Like example, in the case of Ambani has a business outside India, but he's controlling it from India. So every income would be taxable in the case of, in case Ambani is, even if he's in RNOR, वो वाला case है. But non-resident के perspective से देखो ना, neither the income is generated in India, nor neither it is received in India. Only 40,000 is received in India, hence 40,000 is taxable. Got it? सबको क्लियर हो गया? एसिड जहीदा, पहले देखो इनकम डीम टू अक्रू और अराइज इन इंडिया है या नहीं. वो कब होगा? व्हेन कैपिटल एसेट इज सिचुएटेड इन इंडिया. यस, इट इज सिचुएटेड इन इंडिया. इट इज एन इनकम डीम टू अक्रू और अराइज इन इंडिया. और वेदर इट इज रिसीव्ड आउटसाइड इंडिया और नॉट डज नॉट मैटर. ओके, चलो ग्रेट, आगे बढ़े. परफेक्ट. नेक्स्ट इज प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम अ बिजनेस इन दिल्ली बट मैनेज्ड एंटायरली इन लंदन. अब यहाँ पे मजा आएगा. मैनेज entirely in London is just to confuse you. बिजनेस कहाँ है? दिल्ली में. सोर्स कहाँ है? दिल्ली में. टैक्सेबल होगा? यस, बिकॉज इट इज अक्रूड इन इंडिया. सो वो मैनेज कहाँ से हो रहा है डज नॉट मैटर. हाँ, डेफिनेटली व्हेन इट्स अ बिजनेस आउटसाइड इंडिया बट इट इज मैनेज्ड फ्रॉम इंडिया, देन इट मैटर्स अ लॉट. So every amount would be taxable. Now let's move from the next part. Income from house property in London, deposited in a bank at London, brought to India. Computed मतलब आपको कुछ कंप्यूट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. इनकम कहाँ हो रहा है? लंदन में. Deposited in London, accrued outside India, received outside India. Received, remember, received was the first instance. Received was the first instance आपको कहाँ मिला. Brought to India is a further remittance. तो वो हमारे लिए मायने नहीं रखता. It is not considered as received in India. Remember, remittance is not considered as received. So पहली बार रिसीव का हुआ एज एन पर्सन लंदन में. So accrued outside India, received outside India, not taxable in the hands of RNOR or NR, but taxable in the hands of resident because global income is taxable. Next, interest on debentures in Indian company received in India. Debentures कहाँ के हैं? Indian company के. Receive जहाँ मर्जी हो. It is an income accrued in India. Everything would be taxable. Next, fee for technical services. Technical services rendered in India but received in London. Services rendered in India है but received in London है, does not matter. It is accrued in India, taxable in everyone's hand. Next, profit from business in Mumbai. आगे वो जो मर्जी है. अगर मेरे को अक्रूड इन इंडिया का कॉन्सेप्ट मैच हो गया तो मैं रिसीव जहां मर्जी नहीं देखूंगी. सोर्स इंडिया में मैच हो गया, रिसीव जहां मर्जी है नहीं देखूंगी. बिजनेस सेटअप इन इंडिया है, रिसीव्ड जहां मर्जी है, मैनेज्ड जहां मर्जी है, डज नॉट मैटर. 26K, 26K and 26K. Next, income from property situated in Nepal, received there. Property कहाँ है? Outside India. Receive कहाँ हुआ? Outside India. Taxable होगा only in case of resident, not in case of non-resident or RNR. Past foreign untaxed income brought to India during the previous year. Question is past foreign untaxed income brought to India ड्यूरिंग प्रीवियस ईयर कोई पिछले साल का अनटैक्स्ड इनकम है अब वो इंडिया में ब्रॉट हुआ है एज इन रेमिट हुआ है फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट इज फ्रॉम प्रिसीडिंग ईयर्स वी कैलकुलेट द इनकम फॉर द करंट ईयर अब वो करंट ईयर का वो है ही नहीं इनकम तो मैं उसको क्यों टैक्सेबल करूं चाहे किसी के भी हैंड्स में यस आई एम रिपीटेटिवली सेइंग दैट प्रेसिडेंट का entire income is taxable but the entire income accrued or received during the year. It is neither accrued during the year nor received during the year. It is remitted. And remittance is never equal to receipt. Next, income from agricultural land in Nepal received there and then brought here. Agricultural income कहाँ हो रहा है बाहर, receive कहाँ हो रहा है बाहर. So not taxable, but agricultural income है वैसे not taxable होता है, but वो only when it is earned in India. But it would be taxable in the hands of ROR. अब यहाँ तक किसी को डाउट? एक बार सारे पॉइंट्स यहाँ तक देखो. परफेक्ट, थैंक यू गाइस. चले आगे. ग्रेट. अब लेट्स डू इट फॉर द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. थोड़ा सा रहेगा इनकम फ्रॉम प्रोफेशन इन कीनिया. बिजनेस का है कीनिया में which was set up in India. Received there but spent in India. Okay. Spent in India does not matter. First of all, income from profession in Kenya which was set up in India. कहने का मतलब होता है इसका मतलब क्या है लाइन का इनकम फ्रॉम प्रोफेशन इन कीनिया which was set up in India. Basically, I am a designer. Okay. I have the office set up in India, okay, but the services which I rendered, I went outside and rendered in Kenya. I'm a designer. I designed a house in Kenya. So services कहाँ से आ रहा है? Question कहाँ पे income कहाँ से generate हुआ? Kenya से. But the business was set up in India. Business was set up in India. The profession was set up in India. Will it be taxable in the hands of non-resident? No. क्योंकि business outside India है किसी भी outside India हो. So NR के case में तो it would not be taxable. Coming to ROR and RNOR. ROR के case में it would be taxable. But what about RNOR? Full 5,000 would be taxable? Yes, because it's an income from profession which is outside India, but it is set up or controlled in India. It is taxable. गिफ्ट रिसीव्ड ऑन ओकेजन ऑफ वेडिंग. सर गाइस वेडिंग के केस में मतलब शादी वाले दिन किसी को कुछ भी मिलता है चाहे कहीं से भी कहीं पे भी. रिसीविंग एनीवेयर फ्रॉम एनीवन. इफ यू आर रिसीविंग ऑन द डे ऑफ मैरिज एज इन ऑन द वेडिंग nothing is taxable. This relation to income from other sources you will see soon. Okay. Then interest from saving back deposits in State Bank of India. Taxable? Yes. Full 12K would be taxable. Next, income from business in Russia, controlled in Russia. Control भी बाहर, सब कुछ बाहर, not taxable, but India में ROR के लिए everything is be taxable. Dividend from Reliance Petroleum Indian Company. Dividend from Indian company always taxable as income deemed to accrue in India. वे कहीं पे भी मिल रहा है, does not matter. Agricultural income from land in Rajasthan. Agricultural income guys exempt होता है for my every SSC, so it would not be taxable. Simple. So this is how अभी यहाँ पे कोई आंसर में 80 दिया हुआ है. Ignore it for the timing. So this is how you will compute the income in case of resident, RNOR and non-resident. And trust me, guys, a question like this can come in exams, and you just have to focus first. Accrued in इंडिया में अगर सीधा रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया मिल गया, सब में टैक्सेबल कर दो. रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया नहीं मिला, तो देखो अक्रूड इन इंडिया है या नहीं है. अक्रूड इन इंडिया है तो सब में टैक्सेबल कर दो. क्रूड इन इंडिया नहीं है तो नॉन रेजिडेंट में नहीं होगा, बट बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशन है विच इज सेटअप इन इंडिया और कंट्रोल फ्रॉम इंडिया, तो RNOR में हो जाएगा. Otherwise, all income would be taxable for ROR, but not previous year's incomes which are remitted now. Simple. Got it? Great. वेडिंग में कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है 50,000 का, कोई भी किसी को जितना मर्जी गिफ्ट दे दे. Devendra, one more mean comment and I will ask the person to outskirt you. That's not done. Please respect the platform which ICAI is providing. Please respect the efforts. In case you are not able to understand, even after everyone's effort and everyone is able to understand, then you are better there to know who has the problem. Okay. So please, I'll request tech support also to take care of such people. जर्मनी वाला पार्ट इज जर्मनी वाला 1 second. जर्मनी एंड कीनिया वाला, राइट? Agriculture income is not taxable, guys. It is not taxable. Again and again, I'm saying. But remember, if agriculture's income is more than 5,000 and you have other income more than basic exemption limit, then you have to apply the concept of partial integration in your exams while calculating taxes. Thank you so much, Jayesh. Trust me, he has disturbed me to some other extent by giving all such mean comments. So I generally don't address them, but one after another, one after another, one after another, just not right. For anyone, not only me. I look for questions coming from students and I find something stupid written in. Anyway. Yeah. So एक जर्मनी वाला पार्ट रह गया, कीनिया वाला पार्ट रह गया, राइट? अदरवाइज कार्तिक, अपर्णा, कोई और डाउट? एग्रीकल्चर इनकम केनिया से है तो किसी के हाथ में सबके हाथ में एग्रीकल्चर इनकम ROR के हाथ में टैक्सेबल होगी. अगर वो कीनिया से है, अगर वो कीनिया में ही मिल रही है तो किसी के हाथ में टैक्सेबल नहीं होगी इन द सेंस ऑफ नॉन रेजिडेंट एंड RNOR. बट इन द हैंड्स ऑफ ROR इट वुड डेफिनेटली बी टैक्सेबल, जस्ट लाइक नेपाल में एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम था वैसे वाला. ROR is such an unfortunate person. Yes, ROR is such an unfortunate person. He has to pay taxes in all the cases because government कहती है कि you are using all our resources, so you pay taxes. Thank you so much, Rachna. Okay, Kenya वाला एक point रह गया. We'll do it again. Kenya, see, एक second. Income is from profession in Kenya, which was set up in India. बिजनेस जो उसका प्रोफेशन था वो सेटअप, उसका प्रॉपर सेटअप एज एन ऑफिस वगैरह, एवरीथिंग इज कंट्रोल्ड, मैनेजमेंट इज, एवरीथिंग इज हैपनिंग इन India. For example, I'm a designer, architecture designer, and I have a profession set up in India, but I went to give some services in Kenya. मेरे को कीनिया में जाके घर डिजाइन करना था. So that income from profession in Kenya, but the profession is set up in India. Received outside India. Received outside India है, accrued outside India, तो नॉन रेजिडेंट के केस में तो डेफिनेटली नॉट टैक्सेबल. रेजिडेंट के केस में डेफिनेटली टैक्सेबल because it is the income which is always taxable. R&R के केस में हमने एक एक्सेप्शन पढ़ा है, when an income is outside India from a business or profession, but if the setup is in India or if it is controlled from India, if the setup is in India or if it is controlled from India, it would always be taxable in the hands of R&R also. So even if the business or even if the profession ka income is coming from outside India, but since the setup was in India, hence it would be taxable in the case of R&R. जर्मनी वाला कौन सा पॉइंट है यहाँ पे? आई बिलीव ये वाला, लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन्स ऑन सेल ऑफ प्लांट एट जर्मनी. एसेट कहाँ लोकेटेड है? जर्मनी में. सो asset is outside India, so income would not be deemed to accrue or arise in India. But since some part is received in India, it would be taxable. So only 20,000 is taxable, and ROR के लिए entire amount is taxable. एग्रीकल्चर इनकम इज exempt. बहुत सारे इनकम है नांगरजू सेक्शन 10 में which are exempt, which are covered at different part of the syllabus. पहले एक entire chapter होता था, but now they are different part पे covered है. इनकम फ्रॉम लैंड इन नेपाल एग्रीकल्चर इनकम है, it would be taxable because agriculture income received from operations of agriculture in India is not taxable. रशिया वाला कौन सा पॉइंट है गाइस? इनकम फ्रॉम बिजनेस इन रशिया कंट्रोल्ड इन रशिया. इनकम भी बाहर है, कंट्रोल भी बाहर हो रहा है, तो किसी के हाथ में टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा एक्सेप्ट इन केस ऑफ ROR. बिजनेस कनेक्शन नहीं लगाओगे, वो बिजनेस कनेक्शन नहीं है. बिजनेस कंट्रोलिंग द बिजनेस इज नॉट बिजनेस कनेक्शन. कंट्रोलिंग मतलब कौन पावर रखता है, हु इज द ब्रेन ऑफ द बिजनेस. बिजनेस कनेक्शन होता है एक एजेंट जो मेरे काम बिहाफ पे काम करता है, एन एजेंट वाज वर्किंग फॉर मी. ओके. फॉरेन अनटैक्स इनकम का क्या पार्ट था कि इट वाज नॉट ऑफ दिस ईयर, इट वाज ऑफ सम प्रीवियस ईयर, it was of some preceding year, so it was not belonging to this year, इसलिए it was not taxed in the hands of ROR. Only C accrue, tax it to everyone. C received, tax it to everyone. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं होता, तो C typical scenarios. क्वेश्चंस प्रैक्टिस करके राहुल, प्रैक्टिस करके. Aparna, Nepal ki agriculture income is not exempt, it is taxable. Income from India, agriculture income from India is not taxable. Rahul has doubt, resident has given loan to non-resident. अरे रेजिडेंट नॉन रेजिडेंट को लोन दे रहा है, इंटरेस्ट तो रेजिडेंट को मिलेगा ना, तो रेजिडेंट के केस में तो ऑलवेज टैक्सेबल होता है. यहाँ पे वी आर कवरिंग द केस ऑफ द इंटरेस्ट व्हिच इज रिसीव्ड बाय नॉन रेजिडेंट. पेज नंबर 1.95 दूसरे चैप्टर का है. कम 80 TTA को गाइस आई सेड इग्नोर इट फॉर द टाइम बिंग. नो, रेमिटेंस इज नॉट रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया मुक्तेश्वरी. पिछले साल का इट इज नॉट accrued ड्यूरिंग द प्रीवियस ईयर, इट वुड नॉट बी टैक्सेबल. Income earned from business in Germany which is controlled in Delhi, 40,000 received in India. सबसे पहले बिजनेस कहाँ है? आउटसाइड इंडिया. तो आउटसाइड इंडिया रिसीव का हो रहा है, मेजरली आउटसाइड इंडिया. खाली अमाउंट ऑफ income which is received in India would be taxable for non-resident. But ROR के केस में everything would be taxable because it is irrespective wherever it is accrued. Now coming to R&R, income which is accrued outside India and which is controlled from India, is taxable in the hands of non-resident, is taxable in the hands of resident but not ordinary resident. ये हमने scope में पढ़ा था. Okay. Ignore alternate minimum tax. Ignore for the time being, please. Now we'll take a break and we'll come back again and we'll be doing marginal relief on surcharge and your questions in relation to tax file chapter. Okay. Thank you so much and see you after the break of 5-10 minutes. Thank you so much, Madhav. Thank you so much. So, Vishali has interest on debentures of an Indian company. Indian company है ना guys, sourced in India. सबसे पहले पढ़ा था हमने any income for which there is a source in India or the asset is located in India. It is income deemed to accrue in India. Generally, Sampurna, in questions like this, you will get a question where it is given computed. Okay. Then what else? God. Shruti borrower who took loan for two-wheeler vehicle, he filled an application form and he mentioned his which is, and then he gives a document and a name. Shruti, there is some doubt, some problem in framing the question. Please reframe it. थैंक यू दिव्या, थैंक यू सो मच. ठीक है, सो अब एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट रह गया था, मार्जिनल रिलीफ ऑन सरचार्ज का. एंड देन आई विल जस्ट 10 minutes फोकस हियर एंड देन आई विल टेक योर क्वेश्चंस इन रिलेशन टू एनी टैक्स रिलेटेड कॉन्सेप्ट में डाउट जो है. ठीक है, बट फर्स्ट एवरीवन हैज टू फोकस ऑन द स्क्रीन. Okay, so now marginal relief on surcharge to it. Marginal relief, what do you mean by marginal relief? See, when the income tax is, जैसे हमने debate में पढ़ा था, when the income tax has given some benefit, but just when the income slightly crosses a certain amount, that benefit is taken away, right? Because that benefit is up to certain amount of income only, correct? And then you apply the concept of giving some relief. That was marginal relief for rebate exclusively available under the new scheme or the default scheme. Cut to marginal relief for surcharge. It is there for so many years. Marginal relief. थोड़ा सा relief मिलेगा when the income marginally crosses. When the income marginally crosses, then some relief would come. Why would relief that come? Because with just marginal increase in income, sometimes the tax increases a lot. With just a marginal increase in income, the taxes from this income to this income goes more than 100% of the income, goes more than 100% of the difference of the income. So to protect that, what do you say, absurdity, or to remove that absurdity, the concept of marginal relief is introduced. How you would know that you have to apply marginal relief or not? You have to see when the income is just crossing some of our triggering points of surcharge. This is 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores, 5 crores. These are the points when we come to surcharge. Correct? क्योंकि 50 lakhs तक no surcharge है, 50 lakhs to 1 crore पे 10% surcharge है, 1 crore to 2 crore पे 15% surcharge है, 2 crore and above in new scheme 25% surcharge है, in old scheme 2 crore to 5 crore 25% है, and above 5 crore 37% surcharge है. So these are all the triggering points. Just when your income increases by a marginal amount, say from 50 to 51 lakhs, or from 1 crore to 1 crore 10 lakh, 1 crore 1 lakh, or 1 crore 10,000, or say from 2 crores to 2 crore 5 lakh. Surcharges are varying, right? 2 crore तक surcharge कितना है? 15%. 2 crore के ऊपर जाते ही surcharge कितना है? 25%. Up to 2 crore surcharge is 15%. The moment it crosses 2 crore, it goes to 25%. So 10% का tax पे surcharge का difference आ रहा है, right? So on those triggering points, you know that these are the situations of marginal relief where the income is just increasing by itna, but tax is increasing by itna. The income is increasing just by itna, but the tax, the difference on those two levels of income is increasing by many folds. So that is the case of marginal relief. Now, one case is there in front of you. Here, income 50 lakhs पे अगर मैं income निकालूं, tax निकालूं as per section 115 BAC, tax would come to 12 lakh. How? वही slab rates के according 0 to 3 nil, 3 lakh to 6 lakhs 5%, 6 lakh to 9 lakh 10%, so on. तो उसमें calculated tax 50 lakhs पे tax आया 12 lakh. Okay. Now, will there be any surcharge? No. Why? Because surcharge is not there up to an income of 50 lakhs. Surcharge is there only when the income crosses 50 lakhs. ठीक है? तो कोई surcharge नहीं है. तो tax 12 lakh है. अभी I'm not talking about cess. Now coming to an income, a scenario where income is 51 lakhs. Income कितना है guys? 51 lakhs. Tax कितना है? 12 lakh 30. Slab rates के according 12 lakh 30. But now here surcharge get triggers. Here surcharge gets triggered. Why so? Because above an income of 50 lakh, surcharge is there of 10%. So technically tax 12 lakh 30 आया, उस पे surcharge आ गया 123. Now up till the stage here, if I compare, यहाँ पे tax plus surcharge कितना है? 12 lakhs is no surcharge. यहाँ पे tax plus surcharge कितना हो रहा है guys? 13 lakh 53,000. Now, surprisingly, income got increased by how much amount? 1 lakh. Income got increased by just 1 lakh. But different income. But tax got increased by 1 lakh 53,000. 12 lakh से सीधा 13 lakh 53,000. So tax got increased by 1 lakh 53,000. Where the increase in tax is more than the increase in income, that is the case of marginal relief, where the difference of tax is more than the difference of income, marginal relief is applicable. क्योंकि वो कहते हैं कि अगर आप अपनी इनकम को 100% इंक्रीज इन इनकम को 100% भी टैक्स कर दो, 100% भी टैक्स कर दो, मतलब पूरा का पूरा भी टैक्स कर दो इस डिफरेंस को जो हुआ है, तब भी टैक्स उससे ज्यादा है, राइट? तब भी टैक्स उससे ज्यादा इंक्रीज हुआ है. So that's why it's a case of marginal relief. Now the question comes, what would be the relief amount? The relief amount would be the difference, which is 53,000. ये relief कितने पे किस पे मिल रहा है? Surcharge पे. So the relief on surcharge would be 53,000. Why? Because it is more, the amount which is more than 100% of the increase in income would be the relief. Okay, even if you tax 100% of the increase in income, still the tax is more. So whatever is the excess amount is the relief on surcharge. So ये surcharge में से कम हो जाएगा 123 minus 53. The new surcharge would be 70,000. Now the tax would be guys how much? 1230 plus 70. Total 13 lakhs. So this I will apply 4% cess. So total 13 lakh 52,000. So now if an MCQ comes that identify what is the relief on surcharge, you will not say 70,000, you will not say 123, you will not say 1350. If the question asks relief, what is the amount of relief, you have to tell it is 53,000. Clearly answer mein likho, even if it's a practical question, even if it's an MCQ question. But if someone asks what is the surcharge amount after relief, then the answer is 70,000. Okay. Or if someone asks what is the final tax liability, then you have to write 1352. Focus on what the question is asking. Okay. Answer तो हम सही निकाल लाते हैं, but paper checker को we are not able to tell that what is the correct answer they are looking for. Is it clear? Just 1 second. Is it clear? Any doubt? अब ऐसे ही लेट्स डू इट वन मोर टाइम फॉर 1 करोड़ वाला 123 सरचार्ज बनवा था ना जयेश भाई, 53,000 का रिलीफ आया तो 73 आ गया ना। या माई सरचार्ज जहां लगता है यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल। 50 से 51 जाने में यू आर पेइंग सो मच टैक्स, सो प्लीज बी केयरफुल। ओके, नाउ लेट्स डू another question. Marginal relief on surcharges, 100% tax will be applicable. In short, in marginal relief on surcharge case, 100% tax will be applicable on income difference amount. Hundred percent tax would be applicable in income difference amount. Yes, you're right. One more question करते हैं. Question. Now, first, I'll give you people 1 minute. Two question. Tell me the marginal relief in case of an income which is 1 crore, 1 lakh. 1 crore, 1 lakh. How much would be the marginal relief in case an income is 1 crore, 1 lakh? 9, 10 would hai. I give you guys 2 minutes to solve it. 1 crore, 1 lakh say how much would be the marginal relief? I've calculated the tax also for you. The tax amount and the surcharge जो वैसे लगता है कि होना चाहिए, और rather I should give you इतना information. Quickly tell me how much would be the surcharge on income of 1 crore 1 lakh. You have 1 minute का time. Quick. If someone has given it the right answer on what is the marginal relief, I would be very happy. And the first person to give the correct answer is, I know यहाँ पे कहाँ गलती करी होगी. There is marginal relief on new scheme and old scheme, सब पे है. Okay guys, now back to the question. 1 करोड़ अगर इनकम होता तो क्या सिनेरियोस होते? टैक्स कितना होता? 27 लाख एज पर स्लैब रेट. सरचार्ज होता 10%, 2,70,000, and my tax plus surcharge would have been 2970 if my income would have been 1 crore. Correct? बट सिंस माई इनकम इज 1 crore 1 lakh, टैक्स तो स्लैब्स के अकॉर्डिंग सही आ रहा है, 27,30,000. बट सरचार्ज इस पे अब कितना हो गया? 15%. सरचार्ज क्यों हो गया 15%? बिकॉज इनकम मोर देन 1 crore, सरचार्ज इज 15%. सो टैक्स प्लस सरचार्ज अब यहाँ पे इतना हो गया 31,39,500. इनकम कितने का है? डिफरेंस 1 लाख से बड़ा. इनकम वॉट इंक्रीज बाय 1 lakh, बट टैक्स प्लस सरचार्ज वॉट इंक्रीज बाय 1,69,500. So this of surcharge, excess of tax over excess of income is my relief. वो कहेंगे कि आपको 100% भी टैक्स ले लेना तब भी इतना नहीं बनता. इंक्रीज इन इनकम पे 100% भी टैक्स ले ले, देन ऑल्सो दिस अमाउंट डज नॉट मेक सेंस. सो दिस difference of 69,500 is my relief. Relief on surcharge, because we are calculating marginal relief on surcharge. So this 69,500 is relief. So new surcharge कितना हुआ? 4,09,500 में से रिलीफ माइनस कर दूंगी तो 340 का एक्चुअल सरचार्ज हुआ. सो फाइनल टैक्स लायबिलिटी कितना हो गया? 2730 प्लस 340, which is 30,70,000 plus cess कर दोगे, you will get your answer. Is it clear? Sure. अब did you analyze where did you make the mistake? Very good, Rito. Rito was the first person to give the correct answer. Very good. मार्जिनल रिलीफ ऋतुराज ऐसे कंपेयर नहीं करना, टैक्स एंड सरचार्ज दोनों लगा के करना है. ठीक है. अब क्वेश्चन जब भी आएगा, अगर क्वेश्चन में नहीं भी लिखा हुआ कि कैलकुलेट मार्जिनल रिलीफ, बट इट्स अ क्वेश्चन, ट्रिगरिंग क्वेश्चन है कि जस्ट वन समथिंग अमाउंट से 10,000, 1 लाख, 1.5 लाख, कुछ ऐसे अमाउंट से it is crossing, then you have to check the concept of marginal relief. You have to check the concept of marginal relief. Maybe question में नहीं लिखा हो. Okay? Yes, Chetna, you should. क्वेश्चन में मे बी 1 crore 1 lakh पे ही लिखा हो. Still you have to calculate automatically surcharge, which would be after marginal relief. Again and again I'm saying. So now illustration 8 पे किसी ने मेरे से पूछा है, ma'am, why there is no marginal relief? Let me open illustration 8 once. Okay, let's open illustration 8. I'll give some assignments, Srinivasan. illustration 8 is a question of Mr. D. Age 65 in the most beneficial manner. You have to compute the tax liability. He's having a total income of 5 crore 1 lakh for the assessment year 24-25. Assume that his total income is only of salary, house property, interest and fixed deposit, and the same under both regimes. Now, guys, remember, new regime में there is no concept of senior citizen, number one. There is no higher surcharge of 37%. Maximum surcharge rate is 25%. तो यहाँ पे सरचार्ज 25% कब से स्टार्ट हो जाता है? 2 करोड़ से. अब वो 2 करोड़ 1 लाख होता तो you would have been assuming that it's a case of marginal relief. New scheme में. Guys, again, everyone who has illustration 8 doesn't doubt that why marginal relief is not applied on the new scheme. But 2 crore 1 lakh होता, 2 crore 1.2 something भी होता, हमें लगता है कि it's a case of marginal relief. But 5 crore 1 lakh it does not matter because it's not a triggering point. Change तो नहीं हो रहा ना rate. Maximum surcharge in new scheme is 25% and that is on an income of more than 2 crore. Yes, but old scheme में marginal relief would have been there because 5 crore and 5 crore 1 lakh में the charge rate differs. 25% हो जाता है up to 5 crore and 37% हो जाता है up to the moment it process more than 5 crore. ठीक है? So वहां पे definitely marginal relief लगेगा in old scheme. इसलिए new scheme में he has not computed the marginal relief because it is not applicable. Triggering point ही 2 करोड़ है ना, triggering point 5 करोड़ नहीं है. Got it? So इसलिए new scheme में no marginal relief, simple टैक्स निकाला, उस पर 25% सरचार्ज निकाला, सेस कर दिया. बट ओल्ड स्कीम में टैक्स निकाला, सरचार्ज निकाला, फिर 5 करोड़ पे टैक्स निकाला, सरचार्ज निकाला, फिर दोनों का डिफरेंस पे जो भी दोनों का डिफरेंस हुआ उसको रिलीफ दिया एंड देन ही कंप्यूटेड द फाइनल टैक्स लायबिलिटी. ठीक है? सो इज इट क्लियर? शुड आई डू इट स्टेप बाय स्टेप और इज इट क्लियर? What other topics are left? One is, acha, regarding that, let me open. Acha, any other doubt in relation to basic concepts? Okay, so someone is saying do under old scheme. Guys, chalo साथ में करते हैं. No do under old scheme. Let's do it together. 5 crore का. Let's do it together. You also do, I'll also do. ठीक है? And within 2 minutes, we'll reveal our answer. We both are doing illustration. Let's see who calculates this first. He's a person of 65 years of age. Okay. Mine is done, guys. Are you ready? Almost. Done. 1 second. Let's smash the answer. Is it coming or is it not coming? Very good, Rito. I'm very impressed. So, guys, this is as per the old scheme, 5 crore, 1 lakh है, ठीक है? 5 crore 1 lakh पे टोटल टैक्स आया 1 crore 48,40,000. Surcharge at the rate of 37%, 5490. But 1 second, this is 5 crore 1 lakh, so I have to calculate marginal relief because marginally income बढ़ रहा है तो relief होगा. So I calculated tax on 5 crore. 5 crore पे tax निकाला 1,48,000, 10,000, 1 crore 48 lakhs 10,000. Surcharge आया 37 lakh something. Total tax आया 1 crore 85 lakh 12,500. Now this is astonishing. Income has increased by 1 lakh. Surcharge के साथ tax देखूं तो they have increased by 18 lakh 18,300. So here मैं कह रही हूँ अगर 20 टाइम्स ही कर दूं तो भी तब जाके ऑलमोस्ट सरचार्ज एंड टैक्स मैच होता है टू द इनकम. Income has increased only by 1 lakh. Tax has increased by with surcharge by 18 lakh 18,000. So Baba, we have to give the relief. What would be the relief? Relief would be simple here, which is the difference of this, which is 17 lakh 18,300. This relief is on surcharge. Surcharge मैंने कितना निकाला था? 5490. So relief के बाद now the revised surcharge is 3772,500. Now the tax is this plus this 186 1,500 plus cess. Always remember to calculate relief before cess. Cess के बाद नहीं, cess से पहले. Okay? बताओ और कोई डाउट है ना? That's a whooping difference, correct? रचना says illustration 9. Illustration 9 गाइस हमने किया भी था. ये उस पे है रिबेट पे. ओके, नो डाउट. लेट्स डू इट अगेन. Illustration 9 is he's of age of 26 years and a resident in India, has a total income of 650 comprising his salary, income and interest on bank fixed deposit. Computes his tax liability. अब 650 पे मैं टैक्स निकालूंगी तो फर्स्ट 3 lakhs पे nil, next 3 lakhs to 6 lakhs पे 5%, and then 6 lakhs above पे up to 9 lakh 10%. So 10 lakh पे 10% on 50,000 plus 15,000 20,000 आ गया. बाकी रिबेट आ गया बिकॉज न्यू स्कीम में रिबेट मिलता है अप टू 7 lakhs, either the tax amount or 25,000 whichever is less. बस कॉन्सेप्ट्स पे ध्यान रखो, अपने आप सारे आंसर आएंगे. अच्छा, now someone has asked me what is the maximum marginal amount by income should increase. See, 1 lakh, 1 lakh 5, 10,000 ऐसे में ही it plays. 52 lakhs पे नहीं लगेगा marginal relief. Okay, I'll tell you everything, don't worry. एक टॉपिक छोटा सा रह गया. Since we have given so much time, just give one more time. This I'm covering in very brief. Everyone on the screen, please. Rates of tax on undisclosed source of income. Now, it's undisclosed source of income क्या होता है? When to the income tax department, when to the income tax department you are unable to explain the source, चाहे वो expenditure का हो या investment का हो. Either it is of investment or even if it's for expenditure, or if it's amount for any amount which is coming in your book, or not coming in your book. If you're unable to explain the source of it, it becomes undisclosed source of income. Because अगर source नहीं बता पा रहे हो कि वो खर्चा आपने जो किया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वो कहाँ से किया, और इफ देयर इज एनी मनी विच इज फाउंड विद यू, व्हाट इज द सोर्स ऑफ मनी, and that even if you've explained it, but that is not satisfactory reply. It's a non-satisfactory reply. So government उस part को income मान लेते हैं. The income tax officer consider that part as your income. If you are doing anything which is undisclosed source, which is an undisclosed source, so they treat it as an income, and उस income पे, irrespective of whatever the tax rates are going on, irrespective of whatever is happening on that income, they apply the tax at the rate of 78%. क्योंकि वो कहते हैं कि कुछ फिशी है, आपने छुपाया, आपने मिसरिप्रेजेंटेशन किया, यू कंसील्ड इट, सो दे मेक इट that income pay, they make the tax at 78%. और 78% कैसे निकलते हैं? 60% tax plus 25% surcharge, irrespective वो 1 lakh का भी क्यों ना हो, plus 4% cess. इसको अगर आप करोगे तो 75 मिलता है. 60 plus 25 plus 4 मत कर देना गाइस. 60 का 25% plus 4%. Okay? So they से किस पे 78% टैक्स देना पड़ेगा. What are those situations? These are the 6 situations जहाँ पे they apply undisclosed source of income. One is cash credit. आपकी बुक में कोई कैश क्रेडिट है, like शेयर एप्लीकेशन मनी है, और any credit which is there, but you cannot tell कि ये कैश कहाँ से आया. Obviously अगर वो कैश आया तो कहीं से तो आया होगा, राइट? द कैश हैज कम, इट मस्ट बी फ्रॉम समवेयर. उसको आपने इनकम नहीं दिखाया, उसको आप सोर्स भी नहीं बता रहे, तो अनडिस्क्लोज्ड है, सो इट इज ट्रीटेड एज इनकम. ऐसे ही अनएक्सप्लेन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट. आपकी बुक में इन्वेस्टमेंट है, बट वो इन्वेस्टमेंट कहाँ से आई, क्यों आई, कैसे करी, कोई सोर्स नहीं बताया आपने, तो वो इन्वेस्टमेंट को अनडिस्क्लोज सोर्स ऑफ इनकम माना जाएगा. Similarly, money is there in the form of bullion, jewelry, etc. You are unable to explain the source of it. It becomes undisclosed source of income. कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट ऐसे मिल गई आपके नाम पे which was not there in your books of accounts. They searched it and they find some investment. उस पे शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स हैं, उस पे आपका नाम लिखा हुआ है, but it was not there in your books of accounts. Undisclosed source of income. You are doing some expenditure. And you're not telling me वो expenditure करने के लिए पैसा कहाँ से आया. To do that expenditure, how that money came, you are not able to tell. So they will take it as unexplained expenditure, and they will unexplained expenditure जितना भी होगा उसको income मान लेंगे ना, उस पे 70% टैक्स लग जाएगा. हुंडी क्या होता है? Sort of bill of exchange होता है, but कच्चे bill, मतलब there are just, you pay the bill, you show the bill, you get the money. शॉर्ट टर्म क्रेडिट होता है. So hundis are not legal. So if you're taking any amount on hundis, you're paying any amount on hundis, उसको undisclosed sources of income माना जाता है and 78% tax लगता है. So you should know कि कोई भी undisclosed source of income है, irrespective of whatever slab rates, whatever the amount is, 78% tax लगेगा. Okay? Which is 60 plus 25 plus 4. Yeah, it is sort of black money, संजना. वो ब्लैक मनी को वो कैटेगराइज कर लेंगे कौन से सेक्शन में डालना है, अनएक्सप्लेन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट में डालना है, अनएक्सप्लेन्ड मनी में डालना है, किस में डालना है. Oh, I wanted to do puzzle, यार, but time is not allowing. Let me see if we can. अब कौन सा स्वाति? I think all the important things are being covered. कुछ कुछ चीजें you have to revisit once you do the heads of income and deductions वाला chapter, okay? बाकी चीजें I gave to you as homework. कहीं पे भी डाउट आएगा, don't worry, I'll definitely take. हुंडीज आर इलीगल. वो एक बिल पर्ची के ऊपर आपको पैसे दे देते हैं, दैट इज हुंडी. पजल बहुत सिंपल है, मैं भी कल बैठ के सॉल्व करी थी, बहुत बहुत सिंपल है. नो मिनिमम लिमिट, कोई ऑप्शन है, नो मिनिमम लिमिट. अनडिस्क्लोज सोर्स पकड़ा गया, फ्लैट 78% पे टैक्स. उस आप ये भी नहीं बोल सकते आप सरचार्ज क्यों लगा रहे हो व्हेन द अनडिस्क्लोज सोर्स इज 3 lakhs. नो, 78% फ्लैट. ओके सत्या लक्ष्मी, लेट मी फाइंड योर क्वेरी फर्स्ट. No, Satya Lakshmi, it would be only for 1 year. See, guys, this is non-related to you. She has some different doubt. I'm just answering that. Okay. Satya Lakshmi, it's just for 1 year because एक ही assessment year पूरा हुआ है ना, एक ही proper financial year पूरा हुआ है. Other के लिए you will take it in your particular exam, as in your particular year. क्योंकि वो उस साल का उसका asset बन जाएगा, वहां पे you will take it in the non-specified business. Okay. मार्जिनल रिलीफ, अभी हमने ओल्ड स्कीम का क्वेश्चन किया. हर्ष, क्या हो गया? मार्जिनल रिलीफ इज देयर on surcharge in both new and old, but marginal relief on rebate, which is the concept which is introduced this year only, and it would definitely come in your exam, has more chances to come in your exam, is a concept only of new scheme. Okay. First time received in India, Swati, the concept when we use for income received in India, I say that it should be received in India का मतलब कि first time जब भी आप receiving देख रहे हो, you are seeing it where as an assessee you got the control. As in first time वो आपके control में वो income कब आई? When that income came in your control for the first time. Whether it was first time you received it in Dubai, whether you received first time in Chennai, or whether you received first time in USA, in the sense कि आपको first time वो income accrue होने के बाद when did you receive it first? Later on, if it is sent to India, as it is remitted to India, it is not received in India. first time as an assessee, where did you get a control of it? That would be the place of received in India. Okay. So now for everyone who is listening to the lecture, please focus on few things. You have to focus on the concepts. You cannot just do the questions and say कि concept आ गया. Concept पे focus करो, revise it, write it. Your book has a lot of recapitulations, a lot of paragraphs, tables to explain you, flow charts to explain you, and they are very good and sufficient. We have done quite questions. Also, I've shared the Excel file also. I know income tax is overwhelming because I'm first time samajh rahe and we don't have any reference point to understand it. But try to make it more practical. By practical, I mean to make it relatable, but not make X number of hypothetical scenario at first time understanding only, and then all the khichdi confuses. Step by step समझो कि वो चीज कहना क्या चाहती है, and then apply your scenarios on it. If it falls in, fine. If it does not falls in, don't worry. Step by step करो, थोड़ा करो, और उसे अच्छे से करो. Abhi, basic concept is one such thing which needs a revision. Revision in the sense means you have to do all the heads of income and come back on basic concept, do the tax, do again a 115 BSc, do again and understand how the computation of income is happening. Then it would be a cakewalk. But step by step chalo is what my point would be. Don't rush the process. Don't just go ऐसे अब क्या होगा, अच्छा ऐसे हो गया, ऐसा हो गया, ऐसा हो गया. Step by step, again and again I'm saying. Okay. In respect to remembering it, small quick notes banao, easy notes banao for your own quick reference कि हाँ, these are the rates, these are the things I have to remember. Residential status में वो flow chart, everything I draw with my own hand. मैं उसको पढ़ भी सकती थी. I drew everything on since with my own hand. You can just take a screenshot of it and copy it. It's extremely easy for you also to remember it. Okay. Devendra, this is not related to something we have taught. Thank you. Any other doubt, guys? If it is left, I'll be very happy to take. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Happy Navratras to everyone celebrating. Happy Durga Puja time to everyone. I hope you get all the prosperity and luck in your life. See you very, very soon. You'll get the updated syllabus very soon. Step by step चलना, concept by concept समझना. Easy है. Tax थोड़ा सा voluminous है, but understanding. I will, Srinivasan, I'll try to upload one assignment on that, okay? Perfect. Great. Chale, shall we wrap up? So see you guys very, very soon. Puzzle easy है, एक बार ट्राई करना, बहुत easy है. नो क्वेश्चन में रीटो कहीं पे भी नहीं मेंशन होगा इनकम अक्रूड है, आपको खुद समझना है. वेयर इज द एसेट, वेयर इज द इनकम रिसीव्ड, वेयर इज द बिजनेस कंट्रोल्ड. ये तीन चीजें यू हैव टू सी एंड वेदर इट इज फॉर द ईयर और नॉट. यू विल ऑटोमेटिकली आंसर ऑल द क्वेश्चंस राइट. See you guys pretty soon. Take care. God bless you all. Thank you.